to record. Hola, hola. Hello, everybody. Hello. Bienvenidos. Buenas tardes. My name is Patricia Perez, and I am AARP California State President Emeritus. Hola. Hello, everybody. It is my pleasure to welcome you to our Let's Talk Dinero chat. We know the importance. The reason you're here is because we know the growing importance of social media. It keeps us informed, entertained, and connected. Well, today we're focusing on how you can maximize its influence by increasing your own personal profile and your business. In March, we celebrate Women's History Month, but today I'd like to take the honor of celebrating Latinas. Latinas own more than 1 million businesses in the US, and by 2060, Latinas will form nearly 1/3 of the female population in the nation. But what better way to celebrate this by inviting a speaker who embodies the definition of a successful Latina? Our special guest is Deborah Darras, a successful entrepreneur, author, master results coach, and social media strategist. She helps clients prep for success by shifting their thoughts, emotions, and behaviors into alignment with their desired results so they can maximize their potential. Before I turn over this program over to Deborah, I would like for her to get, to know you a little bit better. So please, we're going to start by launching a very quick poll. All right. And the poll is, I want to know if you currently use one or more social media outlets. Example, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, Snapchat. I mean, you tell me, do you use a social media outlet? And I'm hoping that, everybody here, but I see some no's. So this is this is going to be very informative for you. But all right, we're going to take a quick poll. And let's see, I'm going to end the poll. And the results are 83% of you are online. So good. That's fantastic. And this will be very, very good for Deborah, because she at least knows that the overwhelming majority are on social media. So that is wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for your responses. remember, if you have a question for Deborah or anything, please, if you're on Zoom, just put it on the chat. Just put your question on the chat. If you're watching, oh, I'm sorry, please mute. Let me see. Mute. There you go. Thank you. And if you're on Facebook, you can write your questions in the comments section. All right. And at the end, we'll have time for Deborah to respond. But anyway, a lot of witty. Now I want to turn it over to our special guest, Deborah Darras. Hola, Deborah.
Hola, buenas tardes. I'm so excited to be here with all of you to celebrate Women's History Month and to talk about my favorite subject, social media and branding. So it's really interesting that 83% of you are on social media and are probably familiar with it. Maybe you're using it for personal, maybe you're using it for business, but we're going to talk about how to create a personal brand. What even is a personal brand? Well, a brand is how you represent yourself on social media. Some of us may be using social media to connect with family, to connect with friends, but when you have a business or maybe a second business or a hobby, I know my dad is now selling his art. My mom at 75 just started a speech therapy business. There's so many things that we can do. And so what you want to do is make sure that you're confident that what you're posting is strategic, not just random pictures. When you're doing social media as a brand, you are your brand. And everything that you post either gets people to know you, like you, and trust you, or it gets people to not want to follow you. So you need to be really, really clear of what lane you want to be in. Do you want to be in food? Do you want to be in dance? Do you want to talk about just fun things like your grandchildren or your hobbies or whatever? But the key thing I always say is clarity allows people to know what you want to be known for. Everything we put on social media is literally like a seed in the ground. Anybody like gardening, right? So you are planting seeds with all of your posts. And in order for people to know who you are and what you want to be known for, you have to position yourself. And what we want to do is position ourselves with competence. How do we do that? By giving reliable facts. Maybe we want to be known for our art and we're sharing a painting. Maybe we want to be known for something, we're writing a book or like a novel. We can share information about where we are in that process. But the important thing is that we're not trying to be everything to everyone. Otherwise, we do not have a clear and concise brand. If you're using social media just for fun, it doesn't really matter. But if you're using social media for business, to brand your hobby or your next evolution of who you are as a business owner, it's really important, that clarity piece. We're going to talk about some of the social media platforms. It's nice to hear that 83% of you are on these platforms. When I say platforms, what do I mean? Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. The good news is you don't have to be on every platform. You only need to be on the platforms where the people you want to connect with spend their time. The important thing is that when you're posting is that you become a reliable resource. People know if they want to learn about crafting or if they want to learn about dancing or if they want to learn about art, they go to your page and that's what they find. You become that reliable resource that gets people to know, like, and trust you. Another wonderful thing about social media, because I know some people hate it. And if you've hated it up until now, that's fine. Some of us do not like technology, but guess what? You will love technology when it makes you money. I like to say that I put the fun in funds. So when I started generating income through just posting on social media, I became really interested in that hobby. And that hobby became a business, right? So as people that are branded, we become creators and innovators, not just consumers. Consumers buy products and we buy services, but when we are creating and we have an opportunity to share and or sell if we choose to, it's really kind of fun. And the most important thing about social media is showing up consistently. If we want to have a brand, it's important that the seeds that are planted are on a regular basis. It's like your garden. If you only water it once, those avocados aren't going to grow. But if you're consistent and give your love to your garden, you're going to have that yummy guacamole, be able to have some chips with your wonderful goods that you made. So I love it. I have a master green thumb when it comes to guacamole and avocado. So that's my little thing. So when we talk about social media, it's really important to understand, and just to simplify it, social media for business is solving a pain or problem that your target market has, right? So say you're selling, say you crochet and you're selling sweaters, handmade, beautiful sweaters, right? Somebody has a problem that, when they go to the store, they don't find quality sweaters like you make. So you're solving that problem. So when you go on social media, you're sharing the sweater that you just made. Maybe someone can have it for their new baby. They can have it. Some people who love animals can have it for their new dog, right? I have a new puppy. They could use that. But the idea is you help people with your social media. So it's not selling to people, because as soon as you start selling to people, guess what? They're going to tune you out. Just like many of you, when the commercial comes on television, you usually use that time to get a snack or go in the other room. You never want to sell. You want to do something that's beneficial. Like, here's a sweater that will help you if you need a gift for your grandkid, for your puppy, etc. The next thing you want to do is be edutational. Anybody like me that used to watch infomercials? You remember the Ginsu knives or the magic bullet, right? You would just start watching these commercials. Why? Because they were infomercials. They were giving you information. How to make tortilla soup, how to make a green shake, all in this blender. When you are on social media, you don't want to tell people, you want to show people, oh, this is what I'm doing. Even like an artist, like my dad, who just started his art business. Actually, my dad just turned 80 and he just started his art business at 75. He could do a Facebook Live of himself painting, show people what you're doing. People are very voyeuristic, and your social media can be like a reality show. Some people are like, I don't want people to see my reality. That's fine. You don't have to. It's only if you're comfortable doing that. But it's really, really helpful because it gets people edutained, right? You educate them on what you do and entertain them. Like if you're a chef, showing them the process of making cheesecakes or making cookies, show them, but teach, do not preach. The other thing that's really important when it comes to social is not to be so serious, right? We want to be lighthearted. We're not going to tell jokes that are not tasteful, but we're going to be lighthearted and fun, right? If we're way too serious, people are going to tune out. There's so many amazing, scientists on social media that are showing experiments, and they're doing it in such a fun way that people are mesmerized and can't stop watching. The other thing about social media, the way you grow your social media organically, what is organically? It's going back to the garden example. It's, better to grow your own organic avocado so you don't have to go to the grocery store and buy the avocado. You can grow your social media without paying for ads by sharing information that people are interested in. And it doesn't have to be interesting to everyone, just interested to your people, your potential target market, your customer, your client, or people that you want to connect with, right? So share things that other people would want to share. The other thing is we have to realize with social media, people are not looking and reading. People do not read like they used to. I know this is shocking, but people do not read. You know what they do? They scroll. They get their phone and they're scrolling. So what we want to do is we want to stop the scroll. How do we stop the scroll? By doing something unusual. I have a client, her business is called Mama Cheesecake, wonderful Latina woman-owned business. And she would do cooking in the kitchen, especially during the pandemic. She lost a lot of her contracts because everything, all the restaurants and stores shut down, but she was able to keep her catering business open by having a little show online. It was unusual. You weren't expecting her. She'd have funny hats and she would come out and you'd be like, whoa, what is she going to make today? She would make cheesecakes you never would think to make. I'm like, wow, I didn't even know you could make cheesecake out of chocolate chip or that kind of thing. The other thing that's really important with social media, you're going to like this because nobody likes fake or inauthenticity. It's you want to be real and relatable. You do not need to be perfect. I know so many people don't want to be on camera at all. They don't want to be live. They don't want to do videos. They don't want to do reels because they feel like they need to be perfect. Here's the good news about social media. The more raw and real and yourself you are, the more your target market is going to relate to you. So that's fun. It's just really being yourself. And the other thing, which is the advice I got for this webinar, is to be conversational. Nobody wants to be lectured to or preached at. You know, if you're just talking as if you were talking to your ideal target market about the art, about the gardening, about whatever product or service that you're selling. Maybe you're selling yourself. Maybe you're a CPA and you're starting your own side business doing taxes and you're talking about tax law, right? You can just be yourself, right? So you don't have to be somebody else. And that's always great. Next, when we talk about positioning our brand, I want to give you an easy acronym. I know that my dad always makes a joke that he forgets to take his memory pills. I'm like, Dad, did you forget to take your memory pills? I'm like, oh, I forgot to take my focus pills. So I always use acronyms to help myself remember things, right? And this acronym is really easy because it's just E. I can't sing. I got to keep my day job. So this is E, you know, the 4 E's of positioning your brand. So the first E is education, right? Many people do not like selling, right? They hate it. But you know what they love? Teaching. They love helping people learn. Many of you on here are great mentors. You have life experience and you want to pass it along. What if you thought of branding yourself as teaching? Wouldn't that be fun? Teach people what you know, and guess what? Your people will connect with you. When I say your people, your target market, when you're strategic, you're clear who your target market is. So just focus on them. And don't worry, the people that aren't your target market, they'll tune out. Just think of yourself. If you don't like car racing and car racing is on, but you like the cooking channel, you'll just turn the channel. Same thing with people that are watching on social media. So don't worry that maybe some people won't like it. They won't tune in if they don't like it. The people that do like it will, okay? The other thing, I mentioned this before with the edutainment, entertainment, right? I like to say edutainment because we can educate and entertain, but also emotion. Did you know, I took a lot of training at YouTube before the pandemic. They said that people would more likely tune in if there was mystique or intrigue, right? So anytime that you're going to do a title, say you were going to go live, make sure that you make it intriguing. Like say you're going to talk about gardening. You could say the 3 vegetables you didn't know you could grow in your garden. It's kind of like news at 11, right? Those kind of titles. But if you just say, tune in at 3:00 for gardening tips, boring, right? But if you have that emotion, that intrigue, like, oh, I wonder what they're going to talk about. Or the 3 salads that can prevent cancer. You're like, oh my God, what are these salads? I got to get these salads, right? What are their antioxidants in it? So anytime you can add emotion, whether it's intrigue or passion or joy or gratitude, I tend to stay away from the negative emotions, but that's just me. The other thing is engagement. One of the wonderful things about you being here today is you're going to get to ask questions. We're going to get to interact back and forth. It's engagement. Engagement is so important when it comes to social media. Have you ever heard of people talking about the algorithm? What the heck is the algorithm? The algorithm is basically how the social media platforms show your content. And did you know they do not show your content based on how often you post? It's not quantitative. It's qualitative, meaning the more engagement, meaning comments, the more shares you get, and the more people like your post. That's how they show it. It's just like a television show. Back when I was growing up, we watched The Cosby Show. I know I'm dating myself. It was like Thursday night at 8 p.m. That was The Cosby Show, right? It was the most popular show, so they put it in the best slot. Same thing with social media. If you're the most popular person that's doing like a food chat, like a food Facebook Live, or you're doing a science Facebook Live or a math Facebook Live, you're going to get shown first, right? So you want to do something that's going to engage your people. Sounds good, right? Okay. So let's talk about social media. Some of you, the 20% group that is not on social media, let's talk to you. Maybe you're not on social media because you're overwhelmed by it, right? You're like, there's just too many platforms. It's all negative. Let me tell you something. Social media does not have to be overwhelming, and it doesn't have to be negative. You know how you could make your social media positive and change your feed so that you don't see negative things? Let me tell you. You start liking things that you're interested in. So when I first got my puppy, I was interested in potty training, right? Puppy potty training. So I started liking videos about puppies. I started liking videos about potty training. Guess what? When I go to Facebook, when I go to Instagram, what does it show me? Not the news, not the recession, not anything negative. It's showing me puppies. Why? Because that's what I'm liking and that's what I'm commenting on. So if you don't like social media because you think it's negative, that's how you can recreate your feed and curate it so it's things you like. I also like samba dancing, and I also like Brazil. So I've been able to see all these samba dancers and carnival in Brazil. Why? Because I like and comment on them. So anything you like, you're going to see more of that. Okay. But what about all the platforms, right? There's so many platforms. There's Facebook, there's Instagram, WhatsApp is out there. There's YouTube, there's Twitter. Is Twitter still a thing now that Elon Musk? Yes, Twitter's still a thing. Snapchat, Pinterest. You're like overwhelmed. LinkedIn. What about TikTok? Isn't it illegal, right? We don't know. So there's so many social media platforms. Here's the good news. You only need to be on the social media platforms where the target market of your business spends their time, right? So if you wanted to do work as a business with corporations, you would go to LinkedIn, corporate to corporate. If you want to target people that are over 45, that's your target market, then you go to Facebook. If you want to tap into the 30-year-olds, you can go to Instagram. If you want to get the young whippersnappers, you get on TikTok. That's the simplified version, but we're short on time. But so you don't have to be overwhelmed and be everything to everyone. You only need to be on the social media platforms where your target market is. Doesn't that make it easier? And just to make your life happier, just do the ones that you like, right? I love Facebook. I've connected with amazing clients on Facebook. And a lot of us love it too. That's maybe where you found us. So, do what you love. So I have so much more to share, but I want to leave time for questions. So I'm going to stop here and I'm going to turn it over and then answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Deborah. That was wonderful. For those of you who just joined us, I'm Patricia Perez. I'm AARP California State President Emeritus, and we have entrepreneur, author, social media strategist, Deborah Darras, who just shared a lot of information with us. So thank you so much, Deborah. And let's start. I know that we have some guests joining us, some people in the audience who are not in social media. They're a little afraid. What would you suggest as a way to start dipping their toe, at least getting started on social media?
Well, the first thing that I recommend all my small businesses to do is to get a free Google listing. Okay. When most people are searching to buy something or to look for something, they're not going on the Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. They're going to Google. Don't we all say, let's Google it? I'm looking for something. I need a good dentist. I need a good CPA. I need a good hairdresser. Let's Google it, right? If you set up your business listing, it's kind of like the yellow pages. Remember the yellow pages and the white pages? We would make sure that we had a listing in it. It's totally free. You just go to google.com/mybusiness. It'll take you about 15 minutes to fill it out. And it's going to ask you for location. And some of you may be working from home, and that's fine because it will hide the location. You just check a box and it can hide the location. You do not have to show it, but it will literally put you on Google so people can write reviews about your business. It will also put you into Google Maps So if you do have a location and you want to be found as the CPA, hairdresser, whatever it is you're doing, you can be. But this is just google.com/my business. And there's literally, if you have Gmail and you're using Gmail, there are little dots at the top of your Gmail where there is a house, a blue house that says my business. That's how you can manage your listing. And you could post pictures. You can see all of your wonderful Google reviews, and you want to start getting Google reviews because right now people don't believe necessarily what businesses say. They believe what their customers say. Just think of you when you go to Amazon. If you're going to buy something, you may not purchase the one that has the ad that's on top. You'll purchase the one that has the most customers and the most positive reviews. So you want to get positive reviews. Why? It's called social proof. People will believe that your product, your service is amazing because they'll have that social proof. So that's where I would start, Patricia.
Wonderful. And I know you're giving information for people who have a business. I'm sure some of the people joining us today are retired or maybe, thinking about doing something, but not quite ready to launch this, their side gig. Would the same principles apply, whether it's just them as a person versus them as a business owner, entrepreneur?
Yes, because when you are a personal brand, right? So if you don't have a business that's started up yet, then you are your brand, right? And whatever hobby you're going to get into, people need to like and trust you to buy whatever you're going to sell. Like if you're selling greeting cards, that you're painting, whatever it is. So the same thing applies. You want to, number one, be clear who is going to buy what you're going to sell. Number two, decide where are these people that want to buy these greeting cards? Are they spending their time on Facebook because they're over 40? Are they spending their time on Instagram because they're in their 30s? Are they young and they're spending more time on TikTok because they're in their 20s, right? So really decide what you want to do. And the other thing, for those of you that are in the exploration stage of your side hustle or your next great thing, what I would recommend doing is research. See who is doing what you want to do. Look and just start researching. Get a list of the top 5 businesses in the lane that you want to own. When we talk about branding, it's about owning a lane, right? That whether the lane, think of a lane like as a magazine. So one magazine is a travel magazine. One magazine is a health magazine. One magazine is a maybe science magazine. So pick whichever lane that you're interested in. Focus your energy and attention on that. See who's doing what you want to do. You're like, oh, that's interesting. They're doing a weekly live stream. Maybe I'll consider that. Or they're doing an email newsletter. Maybe I should consider that. So once you see what people are doing, you can decide, I'd like to do that. And you can do it your way. But never feel that just because someone's doing it and doing it well, that there's not enough room for you. There's always enough room for you, right? Because what you're going to do is you're going to find out what's missing, what they're not doing. And that's going to be the edge that your brand is going to have. They're doing it like this, but they're missing this. And that's what I'm going to add to it. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And, and you're talking about doing research and following conversation. Can you tell us about hashtags? I don't know if people understand hashtags, but would you mind telling us about hashtags?
Yes. So hashtags, which is the number sign and then a keyword. Let's talk about keywords. Keywords are so important when it comes to digital marketing. Digital marketing is a fancy word for social media and email marketing, right? It all put together. It's like when you're trying to lose weight, you need to eat right and exercise. They all go together. So a hashtag is literally computer code. How do I know this? Because my dad was an engineer growing up, and he would always use code and write computers, and he would make video games when I was a kid, and he would show me codes. So the number sign and whatever words after it is code for the computer to say, find everything that says retirement travel or senior discounts, right? Whatever the keyword is, it could be gardening Los Angeles, right? So when you have a hashtag, it's literally like having a label on a file. I recently moved. There's nothing worse than moving. You guys know moving, right? We all collect all this stuff. However, if the boxes are labeled kitchen, bathroom, living room, I can find things. Same thing with your hashtag. Your hashtag allows the people that you want to find you to be able to find you because you have the hashtag. For a long time, I was using the hashtag, and I still do occasionally, Latina speaker. Why? Because if I want companies to find me, they Google Latina speaker, my YouTube videos will come up. I'll be able to be hired and get here with you. Does that make sense? So you want to create the best hashtags, by the way, are 2-word hashtags. I don't want to get too deep into hashtags because you'll get overwhelming, but just know the best hashtags are 2-word. If you use a 1-word hashtag, it's kind of like Goldilocks. Anybody remember the story of Goldilocks, right? She's eating porridge and it's too hot, right? That's a 1-word hashtag. She's eating porridge and it's too cold, 3-word, 4-word hashtag. You're eating porridge and it's just right. That's the 2-word hashtag. You want to have a 2-word hashtag because the 1-word, it's too popular. Everyone wants that hashtag, like love, music, whatever general term. But if you say music, Santa Barbara, 2-word hashtag, that's warm, right? If you say music, Santa Barbara, California, that might be too cold, right? You may not be discovered. So hashtags are great. And the wonderful thing about LinkedIn is they recommend hashtags for you. So it makes it a lot easier.
And imagine being out, in an arena full of people and everybody's talking. Hashtag lets you only talk to the people about that specific subject. So it already, limits everything, and you can only talk about that. The reason I brought that up is because somebody had a question about an electrical company. So you answered a couple of things. One is that each platform has its own individual, kind of audience. And he wanted to know, like, what social media would, we would recommend for an electrical company. So one is, of course, the platform that you said. Each, platform has its own audience. And the other one is doing your research, right? Looking what others are doing about, with electricity or electrical companies, and see what is missing, and start following hashtags, see who else is out there. But what other advice do you have for somebody who wants to know what social media outlet you'd recommend for an electrical company?
Well, the most important thing to ask yourself is, who is your target market for this electrical company? And I'm sure the person is probably thinking, anybody with electricity, right? And the challenge with that, and the problem with that, it's logical to say that, right? It's kind of like, who does the cookie baker want to serve? Anybody that likes cookies, right? But the problem with that when it comes to marketing and branding is we can't be everything to everyone. We don't have enough time, energy, and resources to spread ourselves that wide and that thin. So what we want to do is we want to laser focus on who is the ideal target market for our electric company. Maybe you are in a certain geographic area, so you can niche it down to people within a 50-mile radius of where you have your home base for your electrical company, right? So it doesn't have to only be age. I mentioned age. It could be geographical region. It could be people that are first-time homeowners, right? It could be people that have lived in their home for 30 years. So you have to decide. And what we do when I teach marketing classes is we create a customer avatar, and we literally imagine a person, and are they male? Are they female? What are they interested in? What do they read? What do they like? What don't they like, right? It's really important because everything we put out on social media should be directed to talk exactly to that person. It doesn't mean we can't serve other people, right? There are other people that have electrical problems. If they call us, of course, we're going to help them. But who are we going to outbound focus on? this ideal target market. And that's what you want to get clear on when you're thinking about your electrical services.
Yeah. And, I know that Deborah's giving a lot of information if you have a business, but you can even apply these tactics if you're just doing it on your own. Just you as an individual, it's wonderful for you to start defining who you are and limiting and focusing your posts. And it could be on anything. For example, you can start on, making it homemade, or this is, lessons I've learned along the way. I mean, it could be anything. And you can just start, dabbling into creating your own profile until, you become good at it. If you already have a business, wonderful. But even if you're doing it as a person, that way you're not, today talking about one thing and tomorrow about another thing, because then people would not know what you would be known for, why they should follow you. So it's good just to start, trying it out on your own, even if you're, don't have a business yet. Deborah, what is the greatest challenge that you've seen people, face when developing a social media strategy?
I think the biggest challenge that people have is developing the content. Okay. They're like, oh, I see all these fancy videos and people are doing these posts with captions where they have the letters, do you know why people have captions on that, where people can do that? Is because, did you know, fun fact, 80% of people listen and consume social media on mute. So they're doing something else and they have social media on. So if you have captioning at the bottom of the screen, you'll get to capture more people. So the biggest challenge people have is overwhelmed with how to create content. Let me give you an amazing tool, and it's free. I always say free is for me. I love free things. I'm full of free resources. So write this down, everyone. It is called Canva, CANVA.com. So like canvas, but no S. CANVA. It is like graphic design. I don't want to say for dummies because I'm not a dummy, but graphic design for novices, graphic design for beginners. They literally have social media templates for Facebook, for YouTube, for LinkedIn. One of the ways I was able to have my LinkedIn platform stand out is Canva had a banner, which was literally like, you remember the bus bench ads? Remember you drive down the street and you see a bus bench and it would have an advertisement. Well, now with social media marketing, your bus bench is your banner on your Facebook, is your banner on your LinkedIn. If you have a new hobby and you want people to follow your website or get on your email list, you could simply, first step, so easy. And this could be like if you have a hobby like an Etsy store, that you're selling jewelry or whatever crafts you're creating on your Etsy store. You could have a banner that has, your website or what it is you do to get people to want to follow you, check out what you're doing. That's really simple. And Canva has posts for Instagram Reels. It has posts for Facebook, LinkedIn, really fun animated posts. Anytime we do posts that are video, we get more visibility. Why? Because the algorithm on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Instagram prefers video. Why do they prefer video? Because people's attention spans are short. Did you know since the pandemic, literally our brains cannot hold as much information because we've been multitasking so much. We've been doing something. Many of you might be multitasking right now. No judgment, right? You're doing something else, doing something else, doing something else, right? What they found was people's attention span have gone down to 7 seconds. That's why TikTok became so popular, because it's short, sweet, to the point. Right? I'm not saying that. So some of you are thinking, Deborah, I can't do a video. I'm not a video editor. 7 seconds. And you don't even need to do video. Say you have an image, you have a picture. Instagram on Canva, they have images that you can upload to Canva and they make it into a video for you. All you do is upload it. And they have free classes on YouTube on Canva. And Canva has free classes if you want to take a class on Canva. It's very fun, but it's so easy. It's not difficult like some of the other graphic design programs. And it could be a fun hobby, just learning Canva. I have a great time with Canva.
And it's absolutely wonderful. And if you're able to do videos, please do so. I mean, you know, of course, written are great if you keep them very brief, anything over, you know, 3 paragraphs, maybe even 2 long paragraphs, and, you know, forget it. But if you can do videos, that is preferred. So yes, just dip your toe and just try it, videos. And what are some of the mistakes that you see people, you know, doing as they're, you know, in their social media?
So some of the mistakes that people are doing is trying to be everything to everyone, right? So part of developing our personal brand is owning a niche. And when I say own a niche, like say you want to do travel and that's what you're interested in. And maybe you want to sell a side business where you're like a travel agent, you're selling travel. So you're sharing pictures of yourself traveling. It doesn't mean you can never post a picture of your family or anything else. It's just that's what your focus is when it comes to your brand. So you want to make sure that every week you're doing something on travel and having a call to action. So the mistake people make is trying to be on every single platform. And then they're like, what am I supposed to do on Twitter? What the heck is Snapchat, right? Pick 1 or 2 platforms. That's it. And by the way, if you pick a platform like YouTube, you're going to be very smart. You know why you're going to be very smart? Because Google owns YouTube and Google owns search. So if you start off with YouTube and you name your channel the keywords Ventura gardening or cheesecake Santa Barbara, whatever it is that are the 2-word keywords, when people type in Google those keywords, guess what's going to come up? Your YouTube video. That's how NASA hired me when they were looking for a Latina speaker. They Googled Latina speaker, they found Deborah Darris and hired me. Do you see that? So very simple. So you don't want to be everything to everyone. You don't need to be on every platform. Just pick 1 or 2. And then the other mistakes, I can go on and on with mistakes. I could do a whole bullet point on mistakes. The other mistakes that people make is they start selling on social media. As soon as you start selling, buy this, call me now, here is my website. You think, Deborah, why wouldn't I put my website? Here's the thing about websites. Anytime you put an external link, when I say external link, what am I talking about? www dot whatever, even your Etsy page, whatever page, it gets flagged. Why does it get flagged? Because you are taking customers away from Facebook. You're taking customers away from LinkedIn. You can put links on Instagram. They say link in bio. You can put links on YouTube because they allow you. But Facebook and LinkedIn, if you put a link in the caption, they flag you. And guess what happens? You just won't get circulated. Your post will still be there, but you'll look and be like, why did nobody like that? That was such a good post. Why are there no comments? And you'll realize, oh, because I put a link. But here's the hack, Patricia. I have so many hacks. I love hacks. You know what hacks are? Secrets. So here's the hack. And one of my friends that has a Facebook, he got his Facebook, small business owner out of Santa Barbara, up to, he's like 37 years old or something like that. He got his Facebook up to 480,000 people. And you know what he would do, Patricia, with his links? He would put the link in the comment. And because even the word link gets flagged, he would spell link L space 8 space N space K. So they so they wouldn't catch him.
Yeah, cheating
right?
the system. Yeah.
And then he would put the link in the comment. Or sometimes what I do on Canva is I'll put the link in an overlay. So it'll be like a footer so that, and that's why a lot of people do live stream, because the only thing better than video is live. It's like, just like photography. Photography is great. A picture says 1,000 words, but a video, right? Have you ever watched old videos? When I moved, I found all these VHS videos. I'm like, do I even have a VCR? How am I going to play this? But I want to play like my wedding, my bat mitzvah, something like, so many memories, right? So videos are powerful. Why? Because people can see you, they can hear you, they can feel you. And when it comes to buying, that's important when it comes to psychology. People need to see, hear, feel. Ideally, they could taste and smell, but you don't have you don't have smell-o-vision. But VAK, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, comes from video. So videos are powerful. And the only thing more powerful than videos are live videos.
Yeah.
Like now.
Yeah. And the other thing is that you were talking about people being real, being authentic, nothing like video to show your true self, right? Yeah. Because it really is very important for you to be yourself. You cannot have this persona and maintain it in the long term.
Exactly.
It's going to be impossible to keep up this facade. So just be yourself, just, tweak it a little bit, be your best self, and just, go out there. But really, it's, video, it's like, it is who you are.
And the wonderful thing is you don't have to be perfect, right? So remember one of the things that stops people from video, and you may be thinking, how can I use video as a brand or as a business? Well, I know of a woman, a Latina woman, amazing financial expert, financial consultant. And every Wednesday she does this live on Instagram called Wednesday Wisdom. Oh no, Wealthy Wednesday. And she gives a tip about saving, about stocks, about mutual funds, about this and that. And when she's done, she's like, by the way, go to my link in my bio for tips on, Latinas and money, whatever. You get the free ebook that she gives. Then she invites you to her boot camp. And of course, you want to join her boot camp. Then she invites you to be her client having her as a financial planner. Why? Because her brand was built. You like her. You see her every week, consistency. You trust her. She has solid wisdom that you've heard from other known experts. You know her because she's consistently showing up. Her brand has been built. Why? Because she did that Wealthy Wednesdays. You could do something with your brand, cooking Fridays, financial, whatever, free, get creative and have fun with it. And here's the good thing about social media. You don't have to lock it in stone. In the beginning, there's a lot of trial and error. You're seeing what your people resonate with. Don't worry about the people that you don't care about. Like, there's always going to be someone in your family. What are you doing this for? Or your neighbor that doesn't care about it. Don't worry about them. Only worry about the people that are your target market for your hobby or your business. Those are the people that are going to inevitably buy your product or service. Don't worry about your family supporting you. Just do your thing. Okay.
Yeah. The other thing is you need to develop a little bit of a, thick skin.
Yeah.
Because just as people will love you, there will be these, random people who just, are negative. I know Deborah says she's very positive. She advances, with the good and the wholesome. There's a lot of people out there who are just, there to cut and be mean and, they're not your audience. You are not talking to them. So develop a thick skin, remember who your target audience, and just stay on the path.
And the wonderful thing is YouTube has a setting now that will block the negative people. So you won't see any negative comments. And so does Instagram and Facebook, because it's a little bit more of a mature crowd. I have not really gotten any negative comments. I've gotten some spam, some weird comments. And I just the rule of thumb is if you're live and you get something weird, you just ignore it. And then later you block it and then you're done. You just don't engage with it. So don't let that stop you.
And we have another question is, how can one integrate the social media and the website? How can they integrate in your business?
Wonderful question. By the way, the website should be the home base. I don't recommend getting too deep into social media with selling a product or service. if you don't have a website for them to buy. And it doesn't have to be your website. It could be an Etsy website. It could be a website like an Amazon store. Some people even sell from their Instagram. You could create a store on Instagram. So it doesn't necessarily, but you want to give people somewhere to go. You see, social media is where people become aware of you. They're aware of your product or service. Then when they're interested, I have an acronym for that. I love acronyms, and I made it my friend's name, Aida. That's a nice name. So A is for awareness. I is for interest. When I'm interested in your services, guess what? I'm going to sign up for your email list. And then when you email me, I could make a decision. Do I want to buy it? Don't I want to buy it? And the final A is action. I'll take action. Wait a minute. This puppy trainer has been giving me some great videos. I think I should hire them because I'm sick of cleaning up after my puppy. Anybody do puppy training? I need somebody. Okay. So anyway, Aida. So it's really important that your website is the lead generator, because here's another important thing that nobody asked, but I'm sure you were thinking of. Anytime, any platform can shut you down for any reason, right? There's rules and regulations. So, if you say something and it's inappropriate, they can shut you down. You don't own your social media. You're leasing that space. You don't own it. It's like you don't own your house. Somebody that can sell it. You own your email list. So you do want to drive traffic. When I say email list, I don't mean Gmail. I don't mean a piece of paper and a names on an email. I mean like MailChimp, Constant Contact. These are platforms. And you can they're free if you have under 1,000 emails, like Constant Contact, Aweber, you can check out and see which one you like. But it allows you to, on a weekly basis, send out an email, not to bother people, but to give them valuable resources. Maybe you did a video that you want to share with them, or maybe you're giving them a tip. And then, of course, you're going to do a call to action because they said they were interested in your product, in your service, in your cookies, in your vegetables. Now you can give them an offer so that they'll want to buy. We want to compel people to want to buy. Not that it's a want, but it's a need. I need your service.
Somebody had a question regarding pictures and how important are pictures. They're absolutely important. Images, videos. I mean, that's how you're going to capture people's attention. So please, if you want to invest in some of the technology, whether it's a good phone or good camera, good lighting, good sound, just it doesn't have to be super expensive. You can get something reasonably priced. Invest also in research and seeing how you can do it. A lot of this is free. Canva is free. You were talking about the google.com/mybusiness is free. So certain things are free. You can invest your time in doing the research, but really do invest to make sure you're getting the quality image, because nothing will sell your product, especially if it's cooking, if you're demonstrating something. See what others are doing, something that appeals to you. And if you're scrolling and all of a sudden you stop at something, think, what made me stop? Believe me, it's going to be the image, the visual that draws you. And then you can
always look for discounts. I always say, because there's student discounts, teacher discounts, senior discounts, right? So see if there is a discount.
Yes.
I Adobe stock for images. And then I remember telling them, I'm an educator, I'm a professor. Do I get a discount? And they gave me a discount. So one of the rule of thumb as a business owner or as someone with a brand and a hobby, always negotiate. Try to get as many discounts as you can get.
And let me tell you, AARPers, we're not afraid to ask. We're not afraid. So what, worse they can tell us.
Vergüenza.
Oh, absolutely. It's just, doesn't hurt to ask. All right. Our final poll. I want to find out from people, whether you learned something. I am aware of at least one thing I can do to improve my social media presence. I hope there's going to be another landslide, but I want to do another poll. I want to find out from our audience if you learned something today to improve your social media presence. So please just, let me know if you did. if you learned at least one thing. I know some of you are pros at this, but did you learn anything new? Well, so far, yeah, so far, everybody learned something, which is wonderful. And you know what? And there's so much to learn. You know, one thing with technology, the minute you think you've mastered it, they'll change it, they'll improve it, you know, so
but that's why it's fun.
Yes.
Because it keeps you on your feet. You use it or you lose it, right?
Yes, absolutely. So 100% said, yes, they learned something new. So that's wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful.
And
you don't have to apply everything that we talked about. Even if you did one thing, just get your Google listing, or just choose one platform, or just do research, or just sign up for Canva, or just get clear on your brand. You don't have to do everything. Start with the basics, right? And people can go back and watch this, right, on the page.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, you can, let's see, you can view our recordings, you know, so from our, you know, other Let's Talk Dinero, you can, you know, through these platforms, through these charlas, we talk about with experts like you, Deborah, across the state, talking about debt management, investing, retirement planning, entrepreneurship, how to build their personal brands, and much more. And they can get the video later at aarp.org/Let's Talk Dinero. So you'll be able to watch this video plus all the others at aarp.org. Let's Talk Dinero. And Priscilla just put it on the chat so you can see, you know, all the archives and, you know, learn something, including this. I know there was just so much, so you can, you know, view it anytime. Of course, also mark your calendars for April the 17th. That's going to be our next Let's Talk Dinero. So it's going to be on Monday, April 17th. Let's Talk Dinero. But before we wrap up, Deborah, I'm going to final thoughts, final message, final things that advice that you want to give our audience.
Well, this is something my grandmother, who's always in my head, used to tell me. She said, Rome wasn't built in a day, Deborah. So start small. And I think the best way not to overwhelm yourself is maybe set a timer, an alarm, and spend 20 minutes, maybe 20 minutes on Canva. Because if you do it for 3 hours, you're going to get overwhelmed and want to quit. So limit your time, because social media can put you down a deep hole and it can be overwhelming. So just really set short, sweet goals, set a timer, make a list, evaluate your progress. And as long as you're taking action each and every day, you're going to move forward, even if it's a small action.
Oh, absolutely. I love the tip of set a timer, because once you get into social media, it's like, you know, a drain, you know, a time suck. I mean, you go into that rabbit hole, and before you know it, you're like, you know, all of a sudden it's like, now, why am I reading about, you know, this? But you do, it's because it's interesting. But absolutely, I love the idea of just putting a timer. But if people want to know about social media, marketing, anything, of course, you can also search AARP. There's a lot of information. You can search it going to aarp.org. Once again, aarp.org. Lots and lots of resources available. And I mentioned that these chats are really to help you, you know, and build your financial future, and you know, just build financial security and stability. Lots of information on aarp.org, and you can go there and just start. This one was, of course, if you're starting your side hustle, your gig, you have a hobby that you're thinking you may want to be able to, you know, monetize. This is for you. And, you know, this was wonderful. Let's see. And just want to remind, let's see, you mentioned google.com/mybusiness. You mentioned Canva, which was free. And I know I own a, you know, a Cricut machine. Everybody wants, we love Canva. So it's wonderful. Let's see, what other sites did you talk about? Let's see. MailChimp, you talked about MailChimp, which is free, and MailChimp is wonderful too. And that's if you want to do these mass mailings to people, but only if you have, less than 1,000. Otherwise, you do have to get a subscription. But if you start collecting emails and you want to do a mass mailing, MailChimp is wonderful. So that way you're not overwhelming your own computer. You just, send it via them. And let's see, just once again, thank you to Deborah for joining us. Deborah, thank you so much for just all the great insight. Thank you. Reminder that, you can go to Let's Talk Dinero. At aarp.org/Let's Talk Dinero to view our other videos. I expect to see everybody again, all of you. I know who you are, on Monday, April the 17th for our next chat. You'll receive information on the topic on that one. We're still confirming. But once again, mil gracias, Deborah, for being so inspirational, so informational, so much fun. Thank you so much. We have come to the end of our session. Muchísimas gracias to all. Thank you so much. And I will see you next time. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.